Hello and welcome to the Whisky.com news on the 19th of December 2022. And we have a number of very interesting news. As always, we start off with Aultmore. Aultmore is doubling their production capacity. 15 million pounds are being invested into new wash bags. These are the fermentation tanks. Then we have pot stills and other infrastructure. So I think this is going to be just doubling everything in production, and they actually want to be finished in 2022. That's when they're gonna have their 125th anniversary, and they want to bring out some additional bottlings for that. Sounds pretty nice. New whiskey making is always good, so we don't have any shortages in the very future. Next up is Tamdhu. They're also getting their building permit, not for production, but actually just for an office building. The old office building in the middle of the distillery. Unfortunately, the distillery is closed, so you probably don't know that, but they have an office building right in the middle of their yard, I would say. And they are raising it, building it new with a new laboratory, 5 offices, meeting room, pot stills, as a decoration. So sounds pretty nice, and then we have Diageo, and they are planning a new production, not for whiskey actually, but actually for glass, and it's going to be a very sustainable glass. It's a joint venture with the glass producer Anserk, and they want to build a very, very low CO2 emitting production, and everything is going to be with hydropower, with water, and they're going to be use 100% recycled glass, and they want to reduce the carbon footprint by 90%. And they want to start production 2027. I think this is a very strict production project plan, as Diageo is a very, very big company. They're going to build a very, very big production for their glass. If they want to produce glass enough for their brands in Scotland, it's going to be huge. So next up we have news from Dingle, and they're bringing out a new bottling for their very new series, and the bottling is going to be called Samhain, and the bottling series is going to be Wheel of the Year. So there's a Wheel of the Year for Ireland, and Samhain is one of their seasonal celebratory festivals, and it's gonna be a fire festival. Samhain is a fire festival. Wheel of the Year is gonna have 8 bottlings, as the wheel has 8 parts, and everything's gonna be with a festival, and everyone's gonna get 1 bottling. This first one is a malt triple distilled 5 years in bourbon cask plus a finish in Moscatel cask, limited to 10,000 bottles, 15.5% ABV. Sounds really, really nice. Then we move over to the States. We have a new update from Buffalo Trace. They've just filled their 8 millionth barrel, and since the Prohibition, before they probably don't have any records how much they did, but just to give you a comparison how they increased their production, in 2018 they barreled their 7 millionth barrel. So since 2018 they did 1 million barrels. This is quite a lot. So we're gonna have more of these updates coming, if we choose to actually report about them, because it's not that big. To have such a big production, they're gonna pop out millions and millions of barrels. But there's a new distillery being built in America. There's always a new distillery somewhere, and this time it's actually from Willett. We do know Willett. They do have a distillery near the Heritage Center of Haven Hill, and that's in Bardstown, and they're investing $93 million into a new distillery, actually in Springfield, Kentucky, 70,000 square meters. Sorry, I don't know how much that is in square foot. It's huge. It's huge. That's the thing. Actually, they do that because they have so much demand, and they're planning a new distillery, warehouses, and actually water, kind of a artificial lake for their a fire department, which is interesting that they are building warehouses, because I have been in Willett. Unfortunately, I was not allowed to do a video, but they had tons of warehouses still left. The production at Willett is pretty small. So yeah, that's why they're investing. But they still had a lot of warehouses they really couldn't use because they didn't have the stock for that. But they said they want to rejuvenate the warehouses and fill them one by one. But now they are also building new warehouses, so it kind of sounds a little bit like a new brand, new distillery, new everything. Yeah, they want to start in 2023, and we're probably gonna have some updates on that one because it sounds really like an interesting story. Willett is pretty decent brand. Yeah. Then we have news from Old Forester. 117 extra old is the new bottling called. It's a double barreling experiment. Double barreling is when you have a virgin oak cask, fill it with new make from in America, and then you're allowed to call it whiskey, and after it's been aged they actually barrel it again in a new barrel. The other one is used, goes off, and after that you have a double barreled whiskey. So it has two new casks in it, which is quite intense in cask flavor or barrel flavor. And this is actually done as like an homage to the rebarreling from 1910. So they had a huge fire in 1910, also in one of their warehouses. So kind of a lot of casks were damaged, and they were actually rebarreling these barrels into new casks. So that's why they had a double barreling back in 1910. 93 proof, and it will be available at the distillery first. Maybe it will reach the markets, maybe not. Then we have news from Pappy Van Winkle. It's a very, it is also an old brand, and they got sold at Sotheby's for extraordinary prices. $396,000 was the price, and they actually sold off a 50-year-old Pappy Van Winkle, 23-year-old Pappy Van Winkle, and a 20-year-old Pappy Van Winkle, and they had in total, they actually had 14 bottles. Yeah, that was it with the news. Now a little bit of a news in their own for us. On the 26th of December, so second day of Christmas, we're gonna do in the evening here in Europe, we're gonna do a live stream with Glenmorangie. We're gonna present the Glenmorangie distillery, and it's gonna be at 8 o'clock Central European Winter Time. If you don't want to know when it is in your time, go to Whisky.com/live. There is the event in there, and click on play. It's gonna not play, it's just gonna tell you when it will be in your time zone. Yeah, that was it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.